This is a video about adding diminished seventh chords to classical style compositions. We're going to use a quartet as an example. Diminished seventh chords are great at modulations, and they're also very common in the run-up to cadences. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you might add a diminished seventh chord to a cadential progression. So here is the end of a minuet. It is pretty much one by Haydn. I've just simplified it a little bit so that we can make it more complicated again. And it follows a very standard progression, the sort of thing that you might have come up with. So we go 1, 6, 2 in first inversion, 5, 1. Let's just listen to it the way it is at the moment. So that's all very nice. So we're going to try and add a diminished seventh. So diminished seventh chords can go on to any chord really. In a cadential situation like this, they could quite easily go on to the chord 5. We could put it before the chord 2 or before the chord 6. So it's just intensifying that approach to the cadence. It doesn't matter which one you go for, but I think we're going to put it going on to the chord 2. So we're going to get rid of our chord 6 and replace it with a diminished seventh. Now at the moment, our chord 2 is in first inversion, and that's actually fine. We could put the diminished seventh going onto a first inversion chord, but I just want to keep it really simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change that chord to a root position chord. So we'll pop the E flat of the C minor chord down to a C, and now we haven't got an E flat, so we better pop one in the viola part. And then we're going to get rid of the chord that we don't need, which is our chord 6, but we're going to replace it. And that's where we're going to put our diminished seventh. So in order to know how to do a diminished seventh, I need to go onto A-level music. And this little page here on diminished sevenths, you can find by going onto composition and then WCT fingerprints there, and then you can find diminished sevenths. So we don't need to read the explanation. You can read that yourself at some point if you want to, but what we do need to read is how to write a diminished seventh. So you can see here the example is writing a diminished seventh to go onto an E. So what we do is we basically pretend that we're putting a chord 7/7 in the key of the chord we're going to, in the minor key of the chord we're going to, as our diminished seventh. So I've explained it in a nice simple way here. So we decide which chord we're going to go on to, which is an E. We write down the note below the root of that chord. So that's in this stage here. You can see I've got a D. And then I make sure that it's a semitone below. So in this case, that means turning it into a D sharp. Then I pop my stack of thirds above it to make a seventh chord. And then I need to check that I've got the right notes above it. And in order to do that, what I do is I pretend I'm in E minor, and I use the notes that I would have if I was in E minor. So in this case, that means making the C a natural and the D, the leading note, a sharp. So that is what I've done. Okay, so we need to do the same thing back in our composition. So we're going on to a C chord. So first of all, we put the note below the root of that chord, which is a B flat. But we want it to be a semitone below, so we need to change that to a B natural. And now I'm going to do what I think is always really helpful in this sort of situation, which is to pop all the notes in the cello part, and then we can see where we're going to put them in a minute. So let's pop the thirds on. And we now need to imagine we're in C minor. So C minor has 3 flats. That includes an A flat, which at the moment is an A natural. So let's turn that to an A flat. And the B natural is our leading note. So that's right. So now we've got B, D, F, and A flat. That's our diminished seventh. So now we need to pop it, the notes from that into the texture. So let's keep the D where it was, stepwise in the melody going to the C. So we'll put that here in the violin 1 part. Get rid of the D of our chord, now we've used it. Okay, so we need an A flat somewhere. So that would be good going by step onto that G. Let's pop that here. So there's our A. Make it an A flat. There we go. That's our A flat used. And we've now just got an F left. Pop it here in the viola part. Check we haven't got anything really nasty like parallel fifths. We've got parallel fourths there, that's all right. Parallel thirds, parallel sixths, that all looks all right to me. Anything else we need to do? Well, now my bass line looks a bit strange in the cello part there, so I can easily solve that though. I can just pop this B flat down an octave and that solves that problem. Okay, so let's have a listen now to our new shiny piece, which is has a diminished seventh. So you can write a diminished seventh as 7 7, but it's basically 7 7 of the next chord. So we write it that 7 7 of 2 6, or you could just write dim 7. So let's have a little listen to it. So you can hear it just adds a bit of spice. And there you go. Relatively straightforward, really.